on episode 8, and this one is called Cherishing My Growth, which basically means just loving and accepting and appreciating our past and how far we have came from it, how far we evolved, how much we've changed, and hopefully it's always for the better. Hopefully it's a positive growth and a positive change. And change is just absolutely necessary in life. You cannot be stuck in the past. You cannot be still. Like on one of my other episodes, I refuse to be still. This is the ever evolving journey on learning how to love and appreciate and accept everything you are. And that's including everything that you used to be. And so change is beautiful. And I know it sounds super corny, but obviously I am gonna use the butterfly, the caterpillar, as an example on how beautiful change can actually be. It's a part of living, it's a part of being a person. And if you can't grow, if you can't change, and you're just stuck in the same place, then there's literally no benefit for you from that. And so I'm gonna start with how I changed and how far I became from being an insecure little girl to this illuminating boss bitch that I hold before you. I'm
a bitch, I'm a boss. I'm a bitch and a boss, I'm a shine like glass. I'm a bitch, I'm a boss.
And like I said many times, it definitely did not happen overnight. I made it through life with lots of trials and tribulations, just like everybody else, learning on how to accept myself, how to love myself, how to appreciate myself. And I do really, truly appreciate my journey, that everything that I've been through, that it took for me to get here, even though at the moment during that time, in my darkest and my lowest, it just seemed like there was never anything better. And that's what we always have to remember. I'm gonna keep using corny metaphors, but you know, after the rain, after the storm, there's a rainbow. At the end of the tunnel, there's always something to look forward to. Like, our darkness is usually, hopefully, always temporary, and there's always a way out. You just have to have the strength within yourself and the resilience to want to make it out. I always like to say you can help people and give them all the necessary tools, but at the end of the day, it is their personal choice on whether or not they're going to accept that and whether or not they are going to move forward. Because I have lost a few people, you know, to very horrible, sad, scary, unfortunate situations like drug abuse and suicide. And it's very hard to talk about because you wish you could have done something. But at the end of the day, it's their choice. You can show and appreciate and love them and try to, you know, talk them up and try to give them something to look forward to. But you can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. You can't make somebody see that they have a problem when they don't believe that there's a problem.
That I'm probably just perfect and it's everybody else around me that's got issues.
The first step that it takes to grow and evolve is to take accountability and realize that you do have a problem and that you want to fix it. And unfortunately, not everybody does. They believe that they can, they think that they can, but sometimes it's just that they're so far gone that there's no saving them and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. And that's something that we need to accept too as people. Like my dad would always say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
The saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink, holds a valuable life lesson. It means you can offer guidance, opportunities, or advice to someone, but you can't make them take action or make a choice they're not ready for.
So You can't blame yourself either for past situations that you think you could have done something different. You think you could have changed this person. You think you could have helped them. Because at the end of the day, it's our own personal journey and responsibility to want to help ourselves. And so, sorry, I got a little off topic and a little emotional, but let's go back to how I started off. And that was being, I would say I was an ugly duckling. I actually used to call myself Danny because I was a big tomboy. I wore baggy jeans and Filas and Reeboks, if you guys remember those shoes. Some and ones and Allen Iversons and jerseys, whether it was basketball, baseball, football, any kind of jersey. The only thing I never really did wear is hats because I don't think I look good in them. My head is just not made for hats. What I do like are the new, I think they're called dad hats that are very, very formed to your head. Those are the only ones I can wear. But back in the day, those weren't a thing. They didn't have those, so I didn't wear any, but I did dress like a tomboy. I didn't really get girly girl probably until I was in high school, because then there was a whole new awakening of wanting the opposite sex and wanting them to notice you. But even at that, I still was an overly girly girl. And I even didn't even shave my legs until I was like 13 or 14. So yeah, I definitely did not care. And I wouldn't say I was insecure at that point. At that point, I just didn't care what anybody thought about me. And I had no reason to want to attract or, anybody. And so that was a very freeing time in my life. That's what I actually loved about that time of my life, is not worrying about the opposite sex and living for myself. And I think in childhood and adolescence, that's the most beautiful part of being so pure and innocent, is not caring and living for yourself, dressing for yourself, doing everything for yourself. And then unfortunately, during puberty in our teenage years, we lose that completely. We are very concerned for some reason on what people think of us. And I don't know, I wish there was something, it's probably something to do with our chemical imbalance or something with our brain.
Your brain has got junk and garbage in it, solvents, petrochemicals, toxic heavy metals. What happens is we got something physical brewing. Something physical.
Things that I wish I knew more about on why that happens during puberty, because I really hate seeing these cute children insecure about their bodies at such a young age. It really hurts my heart and soul, but I have to, think back when I was their age and I was that same person. So I notice a lot of girls wear hoodies no matter how hot it is. So does the boys, because they're, getting a little thicker, a little husky. And so they think that they're fat. And I really hate that, because they're not. You're just growing into your body. You're losing your child body. You're becoming a young man and a young woman. And that does entail gaining weight most of the time. Most people do. But I do remember still loving to go swimming, loving to go to the pool, but not wanting to show my body. And it wasn't because I was fat. Mine was honestly kind of the opposite, is I developed pretty fast, pretty young. And so I was afraid of my I call them gifts now, but I did not like the attention I got from them. So I hid them under a shirt because I didn't want anybody to see them. And it wasn't until I was probably a sophomore, junior in high school, maybe even college, that I did like them, because I told you guys before in my Bad Bitch episode that I got a lot of negative attention because of it. And so it was all that negative attention that made me insecure, that made me want to hide these beautiful gifts that I was given. And I was not confident about them. And I wore glasses, like very big thick ones, and I had braces. And so it did take a lot for me to want to get contacts. I think really the only reason I got contacts is because I was playing sports, and I was playing a softball game one time, and it was raining, and they came off in the rain, and I broke them, and I am blinder than a bat.
That's some beautiful eyes. Like, oh my God. They don't work. They don't work. I take these off, I can't even see you.
So I wasn't able to see anything at all. So I was so frustrated that I was like, okay, well, I guess it's time for me to get contacts. And I think I was already like in 7th grade, 13. And then my braces, I got so lucky that I did get them off by the time I went to high school. And so I was able to go into high school with a beautiful smile. And like I said, that's when a lot of things changed for me. And it was definitely, you know, wanting the attention of boys. And I did, I got it. And like I said, sometimes it wasn't always positive, but you know, I took what I can from it. And that's when I noticed that it was like an awakening, like I have some kind of control and power over them. And so once I got out of my awkward middle school, teenage, growing up years, I did start to become more confident in what I was given and the power that I had. And it did take a long time for me to get there. And it will for everybody else. I wish there was just a light switch that we could turn on and make everybody realize who they are. And so just with my son, he's very self-conscious. And so I try to remind him that every man in his life that he knows has all went through the same stage that he did. And that he will stretch out eventually and be comfortable and confident. And I wish I could preach to the girls too. And I just got to remember, like, we were all there. We were all in their place. And I think we all need to be very sensitive to that and think about that and appreciate that. And so we need to show them confidence. We need to show them that and teach them that they shouldn't care about what other people think, that we don't care what other people think. Do not criticize yourself in front of your children, because I was at the mall one time and I was trying on clothes. I think that's everybody's I don't know, love-hate type thing. I hate it. I hate trying on clothes because it looks cute, you know, you imagine it and then you put it on and you're like the girl in the last scene from White Chicks that I posted on my last video.
I'm Cellulite Sally. Look at my huge badonkey. Oh, and don't forget about me. I'm Back Fat Betty. Now, who could have said that? Oh, yeah, it's Tina the Talking Tummy.
We've all done that. But it's important to not do that in front of your friends, in front of your children, in front of other people, because then it makes them think twice about themselves, and it kind of, you know, makes them insecure, like, oh, well, she's pointing out all these flaws about her. What's wrong with me? Now I need to do it.
Mine is so weird. My pores are huge. My nail beds suck. I have really bad breath in the morning. Ew.
From that, they, you know, reciprocate, you know, me and my words. I try to use big words, but I can't say them all the time, but you know what I'm trying to say. They reciprocate that and learn from that. And so if you go in confident, appreciating your beauty, then they're gonna see that and they're gonna want to reflect the same way. And also, being in a relationship, I truly hated who I was and who I became. So I went through all these stages in life, and when I became a wife, it changed too. Like, I thought I had to lose weight and fit in my size 4 dress. And
very careful about any pre-wedding weight gain. You don't alter Vera to fit you, you alter yourself to fit Vera.
Be super skinny. And I did. And I look back at my pictures and how skinny and unhealthy I looked. And it like made me really sad and angry that I let, I guess, society, commercialization, make me think that that's the way I was supposed to look. That's what a bride was supposed to be. And then even after having my child, I was the heaviest that I ever was. I was pushing 200 pounds. I was literally Kim Kardashian pregnant.
Oh no. You're really like huge.
And that was very hard for me to carry that weight and to lose that weight. But I was so lucky that I ended up losing 20 pounds just from childbirth. And so that's how much water weight I had. That's how much that baby was. How much everything I carried with just, you know, having my pregnancy body. I did wear my faja, you know, to try to tighten everything up. But honestly, it took me at least 2 years to be comfortable with my mommy body, my stomach. And I wore that faja for that long. And it wasn't until I lost a lot of weight when I went through my separation and my divorce that I was able to wear crop tops and bikinis. But then, like I said, with that much weight losing so fast, I didn't feel womanly. I felt like I did when I was in high school again. And I was like, I like my curves. I like what my son gave me. I like that I had a thighs and a booty. And so unfortunately, like I said, we can't choose what our body does and what it gives us. We got to give and take. We got to decide on what's worth it and what's not. And I am close to 200 pounds right now. And believe it or not, this is the most confident I've ever been in my life. And I am not pregnant. This is my body. I can't say it's a mommy body anymore. My son's 12 years old. This is the body that I love and choose and appreciate. And it took me a lot to want to be this person. I like being thick. I like having curves. I like, you know, obviously nobody likes their cellulite and all their loose skin, but I don't hate them. I appreciate them. And I wish I could be tone, but I can't complain about something that I'm not willing to do, which means if I'm not willing to put in the work to tone and tight and go to the gym, then I can't cry about it. And I feel like that's how everybody should be. And that's what I always teach everybody, including my parents. If you're gonna cry about it, do something about it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, energy, and feelings and words on nothing. Do something. And so that's what I live by. And I did go through a lot of health issues when I probably was over 35, probably even within the past couple of years. So we're in 2025. Around 2021, I started to get fibroids in my uterus, which caused excruciating cramps. And I also, probably around 2017, got fibromyalgia, and I wasn't even sure what that was or what that entailed until I felt it and I talked to other people about it, and they kind of helped diagnose for me. But that's basically feels like the worst excruciating physical pain that you can in your body, in your muscles, in your nerves, in your bones. Like it affects you so much that it's just like feels like your whole body is inflamed or on fire.
Witchcraft told me to get the fire off me!
It's just so uncomfortable. And I would have flare-ups every now and then. I had really, really bad migraines to the point that I was getting physically ill. Like through 2017 through 2022, I physically was probably at my worst, and it was horrible. And I just dealt with it, and I tried to find things that helped it and ease the pain. And finally, I was able to get THC-free CBD that helped with my fibromyalgia flare-ups. I finally was able to get the Emgality shots to take away my migraines or not make them as bad as they used to be or as often as they used to be. And then with the fibroid situation, I finally was able to get a hysterectomy and just take out the problem completely. And after that happened, after I found remedies, after I was able to find a cure for my problems, then my life changed completely. Like, not being in physical pain is amazing. It's a beautiful life. Like, you feel good, you love life. During the time I was in physical pain, I was in a very, very dark, depressed time in my life that I didn't even want to wake up and function. I couldn't even function. I couldn't move. I hated it. I was bedridden. I was stuck. I was missing out on life. I wasn't able to do a lot of things. I missed out on so much because of it. And I was not happy. And one time when my son was in Denver and I was home alone, my carbon monoxide detector was going off, and I just kept ignoring it, thinking, oh, maybe I just need a new battery. I put new batteries in it, it kept going off, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this really is a problem. But I didn't feel sick, I didn't have a headache, I didn't smell anything, so I assumed that I was fine. And then I tried to go to sleep, and then I really thought about it, and I was like, wow, even if I do die, this will be the easiest way. This will be free from all my pain, free from all my suffering. So I felt like it was almost a temptation or a test. Like, I'm giving you this easy way out. You don't have to do anything except go to sleep. And that's what that's how everybody wants to die, is in their sleep. They don't want to suffer. And so I was given the opportunity to do that. But as soon as I tried to sleep, then something in the back of my mind kept waking me up and saying, no, you still have a lot to live for. You have your child. You cannot leave your child. You need to raise this child. And this is selfish. Like, just be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. Like, obviously it's not going to affect you, but do you know how many other people it will affect if you don't wake up tomorrow? And it just so happened that the next day I had dinner planned with my grandpa to come over, and for him to come find me like that would be traumatizing for him, and he would never be the same, and it would be very hard on him and my son. And so I woke up for them. I woke up and I kept fighting because I knew I needed to live. And I know all of us have been through a lot of dark times. This is where I'm going to show my vulnerability to you. And it's scary. And sometimes that is easy. It's easy to just do one action and not have to think or suffer, and that's it. But what these people don't realize when they do it is everybody they leave behind. And it's easy for you, but then it makes our lives so much harder, and we don't ever really recover from that. And so I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be selfish. I didn't want to do that to my family. And so I woke up and I called the ambulance. I called the fire department. They came and did tests, and sure enough, I had 80% of carbon monoxide in my body. And they said if I would have went to bed for 20 more minutes, not hours, not minutes, that I was done. And so that was a huge scare, a big awakening for me, that I was like, I can't believe I was willing and wanting to do that. Like, I need to change my life. I need to find a fix. I need to find a cure. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to ever even have to think about this. And so by God's good graces, I found cures. I had my hysterectomy. I am healthier and happier than I've ever been in my life. And it's only been since 2022. So it's been only a few years, but I only pray that I can keep this beautiful, abundant life, like I've said many times before. And the one thing that I constantly pray for is my health. The one thing I constantly pray for my child and for everybody is for everybody to be healthy, because obviously your health is the number one thing that determines how your life is going to be. And so I truly feel for anybody that has any kind of illness or anything that they can't find cures for, that you guys are the strongest people, more than you know, because obviously I wasn't. I am weak. I am a weak person. I cannot handle those things. And I did look for the easy way out. And I just pray, and I want everybody to know that this is temporary, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that you just got to want to wake up and live and fight and do what you have to do. And so I'm so glad that I did, because if I if I cut my life short, I would not just be taking my own life, I'd be ruining so many others. And I'm glad that I decided not to, because the life that I have now, I could never imagine not experiencing and not living. And that's why I am the way I am. Some people might call it reckless or irresponsible or impulsive, but I just had too much loss. You know, I had so much that I've been through and went through and got through, that I am going to live my life to the fullest. And I don't care what anybody has to say about it. And I feel like everybody should be like that. We should all want to experience all these beautiful things that life has to offer. Because I've lived in Colorado my whole life, born and raised, and there's still so many other things that I still haven't seen that I want to. So with my midlife awakening, that all of that obviously led up to that, was a part of it. Losing people, going through everything that I did. And so I live for them, I live for me, I live for my son, and I try to find everything that I can to help me appreciate my life and love my life. And it's just, the nature around us in itself is just beautiful and a reason to wake up every day. And so finding my calm, finding my peace, and just being in nature, one with nature, being comfortable, my solitude, all of that is worth everything that I've been through. And I can never imagine not having what I do now. And it just feels so great and so good to know that I got through that. And I pray that I can inspire other people to want to get through their struggles that they're currently going through. It's just so important that we all have a support system. I also honestly, I know most of the time it's so very cringe to see our FB memories.
Ew, this is so cringe.
Or just anything that pops up that reminds us of things that we said, things that we used to feel. And although it does cringe me so much, knowing that I had that much feeling and emotion for this person that obviously did not care about me at all, did not fight for me, and just, was okay with losing me. And I felt all these emotions towards them and expressed all this love for them, kind of makes me a little sick to my stomach. I'm not gonna lie, but it kind of makes me appreciate how far I came and how good I am at. I think I'm a master of detachment now because of it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it makes me feel good to not care. I always said that the opposite of love is not hate, but it's indifference. And that's 100% true. It's you can feel all these horrible emotions for this person. There's strong love that you felt and pain, but then after a few years, you heal. And that's the most beautiful part, is looking back at these memories, seeing and reading what I once felt and not feeling anything, and actually feeling happiness for, that's a nice thing that I was able to feel that at one point. And I'm glad I got to experience that, but I'm also glad I got to heal and that it does not affect me anymore. That I can listen to all the songs that I used to cry to. It shows your strength and your resilience. And I am also a person that I do not believe in rekindling old flames. There was this one meme, and it's going back to X is trying to shove your shit back in your ass. And I do, that's real. I believe that. I know it's gross, but that's real shit, literally. Because why would you go back to somebody that hurt you? Why would you go back to somebody that caused all this pain and suffering and toxicity and torment? And like, why would you want to do that? I feel like that's so sad that some people feel like there's nothing better, that and that's the thing, like what I will never understand is, even if you don't think there is anything better, like the better part of it is even being alone. Like, I'd rather be alone in my own solitude and not have anybody than to live that kind of life of misery and content. I refuse to. I will never. But I'm not gonna lie, there is a few times that I have tried to rekindle old flames, just to kind of for more like my reassurance, to prove to myself that did I really move on from them. And so it's more like a game to me. It sounds bad, but I will give them another chance just to see if they change, if they grew, and if I feel the same or not. And every single time, obviously, that I've done that, I don't. I feel like once the flame has burned out, it will never burn as bright as it once did.
Trust is like a mirror. You can fix it if it's broke, but you can still see the crack in that mother reflection.
And it kind of, gives me reassurance that I made the right choice, I did the right thing, and I'm good. And I don't know if it's just like a guy thing or what, but for some reason, my past always tries to haunt me, and they always try to come back. And it's like I moved on from you so much that I literally forgot you existed. So why am I gonna go back and like revisit that situation? Like, I've been so good without you that I do not want to test to see why I even gave you a chance to begin with. Like, obviously there was a reason that you're not in my life anymore and that I moved on from you. And so if you need to test that out, if you need reassurance, then by all means, but just know that more than likely it's always going to be the same results that most people, unfortunately, don't change for the better. They don't change in a positive way. And I just wish that it was easy enough for everybody to do that, but not everybody does. But we don't need to have to worry about everybody else. We just got to worry about ourselves and whether or not we change, whether or not we're evolving. And so I say, leave the past in the past and just live for the present and just keep moving towards your future. And that's all that we can do. And it is nice to cherish our past, to appreciate our growth, and to, have the memories, maybe the revisits, but it's only just to reassure that we are doing the right thing, making the right choices, moving forward in a positive way. And I do know that I believe misery loves company, because when I was in a relationship, I noticed when I read all my memories that I was a very unhappy person. And it wasn't because of my physical issues, because that didn't happen until after I was not in a relationship anymore. So I cannot blame it on that. But I was a whiny little bitch.
Stop whining, you're being a little bitch.
Like, all I did was cry and complain about everything. And that kind of made this ungrateful little brat has no idea how good she has it. And because at that point I was not physically ill. And so I was like, oh, if she only knew what was coming. And honestly, I think maybe going through, having all the physical health issues that I had did make me appreciate life more. Going through the job loss made me appreciate work more, because I noticed after all of that, I never complained about anything. I went from having a page called I Really Fucking Hate, which was basically just to complain about everything I hated, to Motivational Mondays and Woman Power Wednesdays and Friday Fundays. And so if you guys follow me on social media, like, you totally know. But I feel like just that small, short evolvement of being a whiny brat that complained about life and was so unhappy for no reason, really, like the simplest, pettiest shit, went through the stage of suffering and depression and evolving to this positive person. It's just so crazy, like, how many stages you can go through in life. It's kind of like an emotional roller coaster. And it's insane on how fast you can change and you can evolve. And unfortunately, it does take a lot of, maybe horrible things to go through and get through to get to where you are now, but it makes you appreciate it. And so I'm really glad that I did go through everything I did, because I don't think I would be the person I am today if I had it. I still might be a little whiny bitch. And so what I do love too about aging, I know a lot of people hate growing old or aging, but I truly love it. I am not ashamed of my age. I'm proud of my age. When people ask me how old I am, I'm like, I'm gonna be 40 this year. And for the most part, they never believe me. They're like, what? There's no way. There's no way. You look so young. And yeah, I like to joke and say that I'm a soul snatcher and a bruja and I do all this black magic to make myself look this good, but that's not the case. You know what the case is? The case is that I am not Betty's dusty ass son affect my life.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't let anybody's dusty ass son stress you out, okay? Don't let anybody's dusty ass son determine your happiness, and don't let anybody's dusty ass son determine your worth, okay? Don't do it. Know that you are a bad bitch, okay? Okay. And that's all I gotta say, okay?
Or anybody else affect my life. And that's why I look the way I do. So I truly believe that your insides reflect your outsides. Like, the way you look is the way you feel. And so I did notice when I wasn't happy, when I was complaining, I thought I looked older then than I do now. Like, just having all that negativity and having, the health issues, like, it does reflect on the outside. And so I feel like I'm Missy Elliott and I'm aging backwards. I flipped it down and reversed it. And y'all seen, she looks good. So good. And I pray that I can keep living like that and aging like a fine wine and only keep getting better. And the best part of it is each year that I grow older is less fucks that I give.
Baby, let me tell you something. One thing I know, two things for sure. The older you get, you don't give a fuck no more.
Like, each year that I get older, I just care a little less about anything or anybody. And it feels amazing. And I always said, like, I would love to relive my life, but only if I had the mindset and the brain and the knowledge that I do now. Because I would never want to go through any of that without being who I am now. And I do believe in the butterfly effect too. So, I probably wouldn't want to. Even if I had a choice, I would choose not to. But if I had to, it would only be if I had the brain that I have now. And so I hope that's what you guys got from this, is just appreciating your journey, accepting your journey, cherishing your journey, your growth, and just know that a healthy life, a healthy way to be is by constantly evolving, learning, gaining knowledge and wisdom, and appreciating what you went through to get to where you are. And one thing that I keep forgetting, like, subscribe, comment, and if you guys do want to follow me on socials, get to know me even a little more, then you can find me almost on any platform with Nala Von Lou, which is my pinup name, and it's NELLAVONLOO. LU.